Assalamualaikum everyone. Hello. Another week, another topic to unveil, and we only have around 10 days left before this Ramadan is going to leave us Muslims. And we thought at Team Huddle, we thought it would be great for us to talk about Ramadan and fitness. Just briefly, a backstory to this Ramadan month. It's the ninth month of Islamic calendar when Muslims shall be attempting to indulge themselves in hunger, and it's not just meant to feel hungry for no reasons, but to resonate with the other underprivileged more or less. For us to know exactly how it feels to starve day in day out, and it's meant to be a time of spiritual discipline, of deep contemplation of one's relationship with God. So I'll just take it as a really nice break, like to improvise our personal relationship with God. And fasting in its various forms has been known to have health benefits as well. And in the last couple of years, this whole trend of intermittent fasting has been quite a thing for many people looking to kickstart their diets. But does it actually work? So these are the things that we're going to cover in our today's discussion. While we're at that, we welcome Benjamin Sim from KL Dragons, and we have Ahmad
Hi
Solihin,
guys.
our national Paralympic athlete, to share with us personally what's
Hello
their
guys.
on this topic. Hello. Thank you for getting on board, taking some of your time away on Friday night. How are you guys doing? How's Ramadan treating you, Ben? I believe it's your first time?
That's my second year actually, but it's been
See
good
how
so far.
yes. And what about you, Lihim? Okay tak puasa so far? Tak ada
So
tinggalan.
far macam tahun-tahun lepas lah. Cumanya beza dia training tu tak ada lah. Dia buat just coaching bagi program buat kat rumah. So
Follow
tak
je
ada
lah.
tak ada kat track, tak ada. Kat
Faham.
rumah lah.
So it's all about self discipline lah sekarang. So like you
Betul.
just have to rely on your self discipline. That's a whole new test too. So every single Ramadan brings us new different kind of tests on the table. Okay, so the whole topic that we're gonna cover today is how do we keep track of our fitness now that Ramadan is here, or is it is it gonna be the same, or is there a different kind of challenges? So these are the things that we're gonna ask Ben and Lihim, and we wanna ask their private takes on it. For you, Ben, what's your biggest concern on the table when it comes to approaching Ramadan as an athlete? The first concern.
I think for me it has mostly to do with timing for my workouts. I usually work out quite early at about 4 because it gets darker faster in Sarawak at this point of the year. But because I buka puasa at 6:45, I actually have to push it back to about 5:15, 5:30, start warming up at 5, so that when I'm actually done with my workout, I can shower and go straight and buka puasa with my family and drink, obviously rehydrate after that. But prior to this, obviously I didn't have to worry so much because I could just drink on the go. That would
40
be my
minutes
major concern, I guess.
40 minutes difference, like waktu berbuka in Sarawak and us in Peninsula, right? So that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher for you guys.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's true. That's one thing. Like, what about you, Lihim? What's bila Ramadan? Like, what's the first thing that you have to think about when it comes to Ramadan as an athlete?
As an athlete, bila waktu puasa satu jadual training berubah. Sebab heavy workout akan dibuat waktu malam. On the night after berbuka on 9:30. Cumanya waktu sekarang tak ada centralized training, buat dekat rumah. So waktu dia sama je. Still sama, 9:30 I start sampai habis program yang coach yang bagi. Dan itulah dia perbezaan dia sekarang ni. Macam yang Ellie cakap tadi, diri sendiri lah. Dia sekarang ni tak ada orang pantau kan. Cuma coach akan WhatsApp macam mana program kena buat apa. So diri sendiri kena buat lah. Kalau tak buat kena nak habis waktu PKP apa semua ni, nak start balik training yang tu takut jadi apa, hilang apa yang dah training sebelum ni. So
Faham?
kena keep on training juga lah. Ya, walaupun tak boleh pergi track ke, just buat exercise yang boleh buat di halaman rumah.
Be-
Cuma still boleh lari lah.
Before lockdown, I understand that you were supposed to train, you were supposed to prepare for Tokyo, right? For the
Ya,
Olympic in Tokyo.
qualifying Tokyo 2020. Lepas tu bila dah jadi Tokyo tunda, semua program untuk tahun ni dia shuffle balik. Memang sekarang ni program untuk tahun ni just tumpu
Self
fitness dan
self fitness.
self fitness untuk
Understood.
masa sekarang.
On that note, Ben, coming back to you, where you mentioned with us that
Yep.
it seems like you have everything planned ahead. Like you know exactly, first thing that you have to do is first you have to um, make do with the changes of time of your workout routines during Ramadan, right? So do you always plan ahead before the month comes, or like you kind of know, okay, this is what I'm going to do anyway, nothing major, or is it something that you really have to sit down and jump, okay, how do I manage this better?
So I think before MCO hit, actually, we already have a pretty much structured workout routine that we get from our coach from the Dragons. And to do with, going forward, we don't actually have to be too creative and come out with our own workouts. I mean, definitely, while we do have that basic structure for our workouts, I tend to add a bit more from, a bit more from my friends and stuff I see online, and I just add them in to complement what's already been given. Because our coach at this point in time, they can't monitor how we are doing and our level of fitness. So it's actually, the prerogative is actually on us to put in the extra work and make do as best as we can during this MCO. There's not too much of much planning ahead. It's more on the day, how do I feel, what did I do yesterday. It's more on a 3-day basis instead of like planning 1 week before.
It seems like you and Solihin on the same page of assessing. Like you guys really have to worship that self discipline. You guys have to practice now, which is good. And going back to going to my second question actually. Now that like okay, Lihim, right? This question goes to you first. Okay, the thing is about we all know the grind in the training is the hardest thing in the world. Like when it comes to game day or match day, it's a whole different thing. Is the thing is what you contribute in your own training. So I nak tanya, so kalau kita training pun it's already the hardest thing on the table, and now that you have to train without food and water, so how do you do it? And you rasa, as I'm talking about the context of Ramadan, so as week goes by, every single week, does it get easier or it gets harder for you?
Untuk minggu pertama tu adaptation body memang akan jadi macam I buat dua sesi sebelum berbuka dan lepas berbuka. Sebenarnya yang sebelum berbuka tu akan rasa letih. Sebab yalah 12 jam 11 jam tak ada apa makan minum. So masa tu I buat light training. So adaptation tu mungkin first week akan ambil masa untuk adjust. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks and until now, so it's make it easier because it's just like last year same thing. When Ramadan training in the night, so this year the difference is at home. So adaptation experience before this, dia pengalaman training lagi teruk sebenarnya sebelum last year last tahun lepas tu lagi teruk training. Cumanya tahun ni dekat rumah intensity dia berkurang, so adaptation tu lagi cepat lah. Dia nak cakap susah tu tak ada susah yang rate. Cumanya sulitnya bila tak ada training equipment yang cukup lah.
Faham. So
Nampak setting
berbeza dari segi space because
Kena,
of the lockdown that we are going
kena,
through lah. Understood,
ya, kena
understood. Tapi dari
improvise lah,
segi
kena improvise.
training during Ramadan, you dah familiar dengan the whole thing because
Familiar.
it's been happening over the years. Is it the same
Yes.
for you, Ben?
Well, I totally agree with what Lihim said regarding not having enough equipment and not having the facilities to fully train. But
Yeah.
I think we all know, like, I'm a novice Muslim. This is only my second year of fasting. The first year, last year, was really tough because I've never done it before. Especially, I have fasted, like intermittent fasting. I have done that, but I've never like stopped myself from drinking. So eating is always never a problem. It's the drinking part that makes me suffer the most.
Oh,
To do with, back to your question, how do I do it? Like I mentioned earlier, that I push my trainings a bit later, closer towards buka puasa time. That I think helps me a lot because that means that I don't actually have to inhibit myself. I can just push really, really hard doing my training, knowing that, at 6:45, when I'm training at 5:40 or 6 o'clock, I can just push really hard because I'm gonna be able to drink at 6:45, as opposed to if I have to train at 3 o'clock. If I finish my training at 5, there's the 1 hour 45 minutes or 2 hours that I have to just tahan.
yeah.
So I think that takes a bit of planning ahead, and also consistency, determination, discipline to keep going at that time slot at 5:30.
Understood. You mentioned this one line that you said that it's probably fasting during the whole month, though you might you're new at it, and I know you've been doing a good job so far. It's just that in sense that when you mentioned intermittent fasting is something that you have been doing as well. So what's how much different of it when it comes to intermittent fasting and fasting during Ramadan? Is it the same in your opinion, or there's a slight difference to it?
Well, that's a huge difference, to be honest, because fasting and intermittent fasting, one is spiritual, one is done voluntary, one is religious obligations. So intermittent fasting, you don't do it because for the fun of it. You do it because maybe you have to drop weight, maybe you're trying to purge, or get rid of your toxins in your body. There's many different reasons people do it. But in intermittent fasting, we actually don't stop ourselves from drinking. That means you can still drink water and black coffee, but nothing else other than that. But with fasting, it's a whole different approach to it. Fasting, it's more you're trying to put yourselves in the shoes of everyone else that maybe is fortunate than you. It's a bit more, I would say, enlightening, and you actually learn a lot more.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do get the benefits of intermittent fasting as well. And the difference, I guess, is one, you have to bangun sahur. The other one, you don't have to bangun for sahur, right?
That's true. That's right. You can drink throughout the day, so that's like a difference, right? But then
Huge
on that
difference.
note, right, Ben, I just want to know what's your take on. So if I were to give an example, is fasting or intermittent fasting a healthy practice or a good practice that can be incorporated by everyday people like me to jumpstart my fitness or diet if I want to make a big difference to it right away?
I'm not qualified enough to answer this question fully, but I'm just gonna give my private opinion on it. So this is a disclaimer. I'm not qualified to give this kind of opinion. I think intermittent fasting is good, meaning you do it one day today and you take a break 2 days. That means you eat regularly for 2 days, and then you fast again for you do another session of intermittent fasting. So you break it up, not 1 month straight, because there are challenges of being an athlete during Ramadan when you have to fast for 1 month straight and not be able to drink and hydrate. There are its own drawbacks of doing that, but not to say Ramadan fasting is not good. It is good. I'm experiencing it now. It's just that if you were to fit intermittent fasting into your plan, you should actually break it up, and you should always remember to hydrate. You should always hydrate throughout the day, and of course not eat, because. But then again, it really depends on what you are fasting for. Like for myself, I was getting a bit too heavy, too beefy, and I needed to drop muscle. So dropping muscle, the only way to do it, actually the fastest way to do it, is to cut off your nutrition, to cut off all your protein, and you lose weight there. But that doesn't mean you should not not drink and all that. You should still drink water. So it's a difference.
Understood. Like Lihim, you want to share with us, like if you think. Oh, sorry. Before that, guys. Yeah, we have two questions coming from the guest. Meng is gonna highlight us. What's the question coming from Zulfo? Can you ask Solihin buka puasa makan apa as an athlete? That's actually a really good question. Like you want to know if this athlete that I have two professional athletes with me now. Do they eat like us, or do they still, have to keep themselves together? So Lihim, you usually makan apa, or you have your own diet?
Usually memang 3 benda yang kena apa, air tumpuk adalah karbo, pengambilan karbo, protein dan lemak. Sebab yang tu nutrient. Sebab yang tu akan sumber utama tenaga kan. Jadinya time berbuka, sebab ada training, jadinya saya pentingkan something yang bukan yang solid food. So minum susu, makan kurma dan makan buah sikit. Lepas tu lot of water. Sebab 9.30 nak start training. Kalau saya makan macam orang lain ni kan, makan nasi banyak, lauk banyak, untuk start training nanti memang termuntah lah. Sebab memang sebelum ni pun pernah, tahun lepas memang pernah try makan nasi. Dia macam buka macam biasa, bila training habis muntah. So dari situ saya belajar kena tahu pengambilan time berbuka tu bukan dengan solid food. Dia bukanlah macam makan kuih banyak. So saya makan benda tu bila lepas training. Lepas training baru saya akan makan nasi apa semua untuk
So baru betul-betul enjoy after lepas training
berbuka. Betul-betul makanan berbuka tu lepas training. Sebelum training
Alright.
memang kena bukan solid
Understood.
food.
Okay, got one question for Ben as well. Meng, what's the question coming from Rezhan? Do Ben or Solihin take additional supplements or change up their diet during Ramadan? Ben, what's your answer?
I don't take any additional supplements, but I change the timing of when I take my protein shakes. So usually I take it in the morning when I wake up as a substitute for breakfast because I'm not a big breakfast guy. I now take it right after I book out. The first thing I drink other than water is my protein shake. So, it's right after my workout and it fills me up much better than if I were to stuff myself with a lot of food, a lot of kueh. I don't wanna overeat. So if I drink my protein shake early, right when I book up pasta, I tend to eat less when I book up, and then the food just flows in a lot slower after that, and I don't there's no indigestion. I get to have the nutrients. I get to selectively choose my food a bit better as well.
Then the question for you from me would be, if you're not a breakfast guy, what do you usually take for sahur then?
So for the past 2 years at least, every time when we have sahur, we've been eating full meals. That means there is rice.
Yeah, that's how Malaysians are. Yeah.
It's a full meal, like legit full meal. There is rice, there is dishes in the middle. Depends. What we eat for dinner is usually what we eat for sahur as well. We generally limit ourselves to just eating kurma or something like. I eat heavy because right after sahur we can just we can sembahyang straight away, subuh.
Yeah.
Then I'll sleep at about 6, so I get to digest a bit. So I'll just eat as much as I can, to be honest. I'm not big on breakfast, but you have to make changes for Ramadan, and this is one of my changes, I guess.
That's true. Now that you guys I'm just curious, right? For Solihin and Ben, this is a relevant question to you too. We understand how Malaysian works. Usually leagues and tournaments will be postponed, right? During this fasting month. I'm not talking about now. We are going through this lockdown. Memang confirm a must postpone lah. But during a normal Ramadan that we usually experience in this country, and you don't have anything going on except just resting at home probably. So athletes can't really take a solid break from their training regimes for 4 weeks straight, right? Or can they? How do you stay on the top of your game, Solihin? Do you think you when you want to tell yourself, okay, I akan cuti 4 minggu, do you think that the duration 4 weeks is rational for you to take a break from your training?
No. Sebab Kalau even berhenti 3 hari, kira tak ada buat fitness apa, tak ada physical activity, tak ada training, even 3 hari straight pun totally lost uh, the fitness. Jadinya bila start daripada PKP lagi, 18 hari bulan tu, on the 19 tu memang training pun still buat. Jadinya untuk nak kekalkan sampai sekarang ni memang perlukan disiplin lah. Sebab macam coach dah bagi program, jadinya atas atlet sendiri lah, kena atas diri sendiri. Kalau tak buat memang akan hilang performance nanti. Sebab yalah, sekarang ni dah lebih sebulan lah dia tak betul-betul training. Dia tak ada training plan yang macam dekat centralized kan. Jadinya dengan bantuan coach, saya akan ikut apa yang coach bagi tu. Kemudian akan buat extra sikit untuk bagi body tak drop sangat performance tu. Sebab
So
memang
you're saying your body
kena
memang akan
fikir tahu.
rasa different.
Kalau saya tak training memang rasa tak sihat lah. So kena fikir macam tu. Kalau aku tak buat, aku jatuh sakit ke, lepas tu
Yeah.
nanti nak perform kan, nak get back to training balik, akan ambil masa lama. So dengan masa yang ada sekarang ni, dengan diri sendiri, training diri sendiri, training mental apa semua, untuk apa, untuk lepas PKP nanti bila dah dipanggil balik untuk start training centralized. So tak adalah terkapai-kapai, tak adalah nak ambil masa yang lama untuk
Yeah.
kembali balik
So guys,
ke
listen,
performance.
that's a whole different definition of being healthy for these professional athletes. And no training for 3 days. For me, you're probably just like, I need to sweat
Ya,
like for 5 minutes
boleh.
each day. Like Ben, one last question for you before we have to wrap it up because we have another guest coming. Ben,
Yeah.
now that you mentioned you're still new at fasting and experiencing this whole Ramadan um, sphere, what effects does actually fasting have on your mental fitness besides from discipline and willpower? Like, is there anything else that you see that you embrace, that you managed to embrace now that you're experiencing Ramadan?
Mental fitness and so you're asking in terms of mental fitness other than discipline and willpower, am I correct?
Yeah, what effects fasting does have on your mental fitness? Yeah, in that sense.
Um, well, fasting during Ramadan, like I said, is a whole different thing compared to intermittent fasting. It's spiritual, and I guess in especially this year, it comes together with MCO and the whole situation with COVID-19. So, in terms of mental fitness, I can't say there's much, but if you're talking about lessons and all that, I've honestly become a lot better Muslim. Obviously, the past few months because I've been stuck with my family, and we get to learn more about each other, learn more about the religion, and take this time to be closer to the religion as well. So, in terms of what other things that it can help you to do with mental fitness honestly is at the end of the day willpower and discipline. There is no other
Mm.
sense to it. I think if there is one takeaway to it, I just gotten closer to family, and the lessons that I learned is how to be a better Muslim and how important your family is to you at the end of the day. These two main things.
That's a really nice takeaway from Ben's
Yeah.
sharing. Sharing with us how his personal experience on that. I do think that Ramadan is actually a really good time for us to self check. Have a
Yeah.
self evaluation for whatever that we do in life, inside out. And I hope it's the same for you, Lihim. I know that you've been updating. You're training. Trying to keep yourself consistent, because I guess that's one thing that athletes do. Professional athletes do, that you guys have no choice but to keep track of your fitness day in day out, and it helps when coaches are there to help you with the training programs and all. Okay, guys, before I want to wrap up this slot with Ben and Solihin, thank you so much for sharing with us all these quick tips and, like sharing with us your personal insights on certain things, how you guys going through Ramadan while having to keep track of your fitness without, jeopardizing anything, because now you know your body has to adjust to absence of food and water throughout the day. We on that note, Team Huddle is going to bring Coach Jatt in. He's a fitness instructor and a strength coach with Adidas Runner Malaysia as well. So he's gonna jump on and give us quick tips. And before that, I would say thanks Ben and Solihin for coming on board. Just
Thanks,
thanks
Ali.
for the quick tips, and we're hoping to talk to you guys
Thank
and
you.
see you guys around soon. Thank
Catch you
you.
guys.
Bye
Sit
See
bye.
you.
Bye
See you,
Lihim.
Huddle.
Now we have Coach Jad on board.
Hello.
So,
Hi,
hi,
Ali.
Coach Jad. You want to say hi to the audience
Hi, everybody.
and introduce yourself?
Salam
What do you
Ramadan.
do?
So just a bit of introduction. People know me by Coach Jatt. I am a sports performance coach. So basically, what I do is anyone who has a performance goal, doesn't matter whether you are a professional athlete or you are a weekend warrior who plays like weekend tournaments and all. I will try and basically get their performance to be increased and also try to also reduce their risk of getting injuries. So pretty much that's what I do lah, for my job.
Yeah, besides that, Coach Jad is also a player with Juggernauts team, a flag
Yeah,
football team
like
in
football.
Malaysia, and yeah, we're actually opponents on the pitch somehow because I'm from a different team and we
Yeah.
lost to this team so bad. So you can just tell he's a defense captain for Juggernauts. Anyway, so okay, we're this he's going to share with us quick fire tips on keeping up with your fitness during Ramadan. So, Coach Jad, when to work out?
So basically, like when we talk about working out during Ramadan, it really depends on the time that you have. All right, it's basically the availability that you have. Some people, like just now, Ben, he likes to work out during the morning, so he might work out like before sahur or after sahur. So basically, we're looking at two possible timing right now: sahur and also iftar or buka puasa lah. And then from there, we look at whether you want to either do it before pre or after, which is post. Again, this is preference based, I would say. But my approach would be like, even for my clients and my athletes, I would tell them that if you can work out preferably after buka puasa or after iftar, just because you can actually have a bit of fuel, basically makan, buka, and then you can work out. Like personally for me, I've tried working out before buka puasa. I feel so tired lah. Like it's so tiring and it's so like thirsty. I will end up usually like just eating a bit and drinking a lot, and after buka I'll end up like sleeping really early. But my best timing to work out, and like I said, my approach just now will be after buka puasa, have a bit of food and then you work out. So that will be the timing for your workout lah.
I think on that note, Solihim, I would guess the Paralympic athlete is doing it right because he said he's just going to take something very quick and then he's going because he wants to keep his body light before he resumes with the training after
Yeah.
Booker, right? So there are two relevant questions that I want to ask. It's just prior to uh, to me continuing you to ask all the quick fire tips. Is first, is intermittent fasting, because this is something that I asked to our previous guest just now, is
Mm-mm.
intermittent fasting something normal people should do?
Yeah, I think just now Ben gave a disclaimer about his opinion. But I would say that I actually totally agree, and his opinion is actually like very valid and very legit, because like most people would actually benefit from fasting or intermittent fasting. The reason why, because you can actually get improvement in health. If you have some kind of like health problems or chronic diseases, something like high cholesterol or heart disease or even like obesity, it might improve in terms of those markers. And I think something that Ben said just now as well, fasting doesn't matter whether you're doing it for the spiritual Ramadan month or the intermittent. It will, or it might, in this case, it might give you also a bit of like kind of like relaxation and improve in your mental health and well-being.
Understood. So besides whatever that Solihin and Ben have shared with us just now, is there any other different way to maintain my athletic performance or your athletic performance during this puasa?
Well, basically it's like this lah. If you're an athlete or even if you are like a normal gym goer or a fitness enthusiast, doing something is better than doing nothing right now. Because we're not just talking about Ramadan, we're also talking about this extended MCO, this quarantine, new normal kind of lifestyle right now. Doing something will definitely be better than not doing anything. If we're talking about performance, then it might need to go into detail and a bit more specific. So basically now we're talking about if you like both of us, we play sports, and like people like Solihin and also Ben, they are professional athletes. So I think their coaches, and based on what they said just now, they will definitely give them something to work on or basically to maintain their explosiveness, because that's the most important thing. That's actually the main difference between like a normal gym goer and also like professional athlete that are actually going for tournaments and games and all. So performance base will be doing something that needs to maintain their explosiveness.
Understood. Back to our quick fire session. The second question goes to what to work on.
So the stuff that you're going to work on just now, like I said, the explosiveness. So to be a bit more detailed in that will be, I'm talking about jumping, I'm talking about sprinting, which is speed right now. I'm talking about throwing some stuff as well. So those are just like layman terms. You want to make sure that you do everything with a purpose. So if you're jumping, we call it plyometrics. So plyometric training basically is just to work on your explosiveness. I think the one that most people would see is ball slams. Like you can see, like if you have the medicine ball at home, you can do some slams at home. So that will work on your upper body explosiveness. And if you don't have any equipments at all, then you can actually try to incorporate some sort of like jump training. So single leg jump or a broad jump or a long jump. With basically preferably with according to the guidelines, then yes, that will actually work on your explosiveness.
All right. How much to work out?
Okay, so if we're talking about this, right? So this is basically the intensity or the frequency of the workout. One thing that you should know if we're talking about fasting month, this is definitely not the time for you to try and look for a personal best. All right. So that means like it's not the time for you to actually carry like heavy weights. It's not the time for you to actually run like as far as you can. So you just want to do something that will challenge yourself a bit, but not to the point of failure. So if we're talking about two things right now, which is cardio and also resistance, if you're doing cardio, you want to make sure that it's about light to moderate intensity, something that you can hold a conversation like what we're doing right now, but having slight difficulty. So that will be a good intensity if you're doing cardio. But if you're doing weights or if you're doing strength training or resistance training, you want to make sure that if you're going for 10 repetitions, you want to find a weight that you will actually do, and you will stop just enough for you to not hit that point of failure. If you, failure basically.
Push that. Next, what and how to eat?
Okay, so this is a very like interesting question. So in general, basically, if you're fasting, so you want to make sure that you are taking food that is also hydrating for yourself. So I tell my clients that to actually eat more fruits if they can, or especially something like watermelon or grapes, during this period of time, because fasting month, you know that you're gonna fast like from morning or very from sahur to buka. You only have this much time, which is right now, to eat. So during this time, what you can do is you want to try and make sure that it's not just about eating proper food, which is high fiber, but you want to also make sure that you eat hydrating food, like I said just now, because um, the one of the main thing that will affect your fasting will be dehydration. So drink enough water, eat hydrating food, high fiber, and if you're an athlete, so you want to also make sure that you get higher protein food during your buka time.
Understood. So moving on to the last one, final question: where to follow workout plans?
Where to follow workout plans? So okay, my recommendation is very simple. You see a lot of workout happening right now on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can also get it on YouTube right now. Preferably, what you want to do is you want to try and find a certified personal trainer or a certified coach that has some experience in programming and also basically training someone face to face. Because right now, everyone is going online. So the thing about online is that you might lose a bit of that human connection and also like this personal interaction right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's always better to try and invest into a program that you can do for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, or even 12 weeks time, because that will actually give you a bit more motivation and something that you can look forward to every time during the week. And
All right,
just to add on to that,
yeah.
I think the best website to go to is actually it's very simple. You can just try exercise.com. There's a lot of programs there. Some you need to pay. I'm not sure whether there's a lot of free ones right now, but most of it are actually pretty good over there.
Okay, thanks Coach Jatt for sharing quick tips with us. For those who want to reach out to Coach Jatt, we're gonna feature his Instagram handle here. It's Coach Jatt. He does have his own training programs as well, where he attends to one-on-one with your clients, even through virtual connection. I think that's something cool, something inventive for these fitness instructors to come up with during this whole lockdown period. And thank you, Coach Dad. I know that you have to go off soon.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy. He has a next talk coming up at 10:30. So thank you. I'll talk
All
to
right.
you
Thank you,
again
Huddle.
soon.
Thank you, Ali, for having me.
No worries. Thank you. Have a good Ramadan.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
And those who only managed to join us halfway through the discussion, we had two professional athletes with us just now. It's Ben Sim from KL Dragons and Ahmad Solihin, our national Paralympic athlete. So the full video is going to be featured on our YouTube channel soon, and you may drop your comments if you want to look out for anything more interesting coming from us. You want us to reach out to this one particular sports community or anything else, you guys can just drop comments and ideas and we would follow through. See you guys next week. We have another interesting talk coming. This is something a little different and I'm quite looking forward to it. And see you guys next week. One last thought before we celebrate Hari Raya at home. Stay safe and don't forget to social distance even when you go out jogging. Bye!